Well, it's the Tuesday after Easter. It's a nice gloomy day here in Tennessee. And since I didn't partake in an Easter egg hunt on Easter, today is my Easter egg hunt. UPS says it delivered my new charge controller 2 days ago. It's not here at my house. Can't really blame UPS. They can never find my house because my house isn't really located on the road that my address is. So most of the UPS drivers have had it figured out for a while, but anytime we get a temporary driver, my stuff ends up Lord knows where. Neighbors' houses, up and down the street, who knows. So, it's the Easter egg hunt. Got to pick up my new charge controller.
Welcome to Win Gypsies number 3. This is kind of a catch-up video of what's been going on over the past couple of months. I've had some trouble with my footage. The camera, for whatever reason, is messing up the audio tracks. It's overlaying the audio track like a second behind the video track, which is super annoying. If you've seen my Facebook page, you may have noticed one of my videos. I went ahead and posted it anyway because I needed to get something up there. But if you watch it, you can tell how annoying it is. Well, over the winter, I've added two 50-watt solar panels and new electrical for that, charge controller. In this video, I'm changing to a different charge controller, one that I like a little bit better. I've also replaced all the plumbing in the boat. New hoses, new fittings, all new faucets on the sinks. So we've done quite a bit of work to the boat. In this video, basically, we're working on a complete refit of the boat. I'm adding a new electrical panel, building a new cabinet to store everything in, new charge controllers, new VHF radio, all new nav lights. Quite a bit of work is going into the boat, so basically new wiring everywhere. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Let's get to it.
Well, the Easter egg hunt was a 2-for-1 deal. Not only did I find my new charge controller, but I also found another package that I was waiting on. So today is a nice, gloomy, rainy day here in East Tennessee. So it's going to give me an opportunity to get a couple of these projects knocked out here at the house that I've been needing to do. So my two projects for today. I'm building a new electronics panel for the Lancer 28. I've got some nice oak boards that I got from Lowe's. I chose oak because it's a good solid wood. I can get it. The inside of the Lancer is made out of teak, and I honestly don't know what it is, but this is a trim piece. I got to clean it up, but it'll give me an opportunity to kind of match stains, and I think it's going to give me a real good look in there, and I think the oak is going to match the inside pretty well. So I'm basically rewiring the new controller, the new electronics panel. It's going to house everything. I'm relocating all the switches, the radio, charge controllers. Everything is going to go into this one panel, so it'll all be together. It'll all be easy to get to. Right now, the way the Lancer is set up, the main switch panel is located like up underneath a berth. It's down by the floor. It's awkward for me to get to. So I found this panel here at West Marine. Looked like a pretty good deal. It's a 6-gang panel, so it'll give me options for two more switches. It's got built-in circuit breakers, and the best thing about it is these things are lighted, so when they're on, they're on. They're labeled. The old one, I kind of have to guess, is switching it to the right on, switching it to the left on. The only thing that I don't like about this panel is it doesn't have a main cutoff. The old panel had a main switch. This one doesn't. That's not really a big deal because the way I'm going to wire it up, I'm going to wire it up with a new 50-amp circuit breaker anyway. So that's really kind of minor. A little bit about charge controllers. This is the Coleman version of the SunForce charge controller. What I like about this is it's a panel mount. I can mount this in the panel. It's going to look neat. It's going to look clean. It also has amperage and voltage readouts. So I can look at my amperage, my voltage in the batteries. I don't have to have a separate voltage meter. A couple of the complaints about this charge controller is it's not an MTTP or whatever the newfangled charge controllers are that are supposed to kind of calculate your usage and the sun and do a lot of fancy math and algorithm to maximize the charge. This is a real basic charge controller, but it's under $100. In fact, it's like $68 on Amazon. Now, if you look for these, keep in mind, this is the Coleman branded one. The Sunforce branded one, this is the 68032. All right, 68032. It's branded as Coleman. It's like $68. The Sunforce version is 30082. Slightly different part number. It's got Sunforce written down here, and it's $99. So $30 more. It is the exact same controller. I called Sunforce and said, "What's the difference between these two guys?" They said nothing. One says Coleman, one says Sunforce. So save your money and buy the Coleman version. It's the same charge controller. The other complaint, reading the reviews, is this doesn't have an output to the stuff in the boat. Your lights, your VHF radio, all that kind of stuff. This is very basic. It has your input from your solar panels and your output to your batteries. And that's it. Now that's fine for me. I don't really like running my entire electrical system through the charge controller. My old Renogy unit here, that's how it is supposed to set up. You have your inputs for your solar panel, your inputs from your battery, and then your output to everything on the boat. And if you look, these are pretty small little contacts. You know, if you're running a lot of high amperage stuff, say you've got a big thumping stereo system with a 1,000-watt amplifier on it. I'm not going to have that, but say you did. You're going to run 1,000 watts through this little charge controller? I just don't see this thing handling that kind of amperage and that kind of wattage through here. Now, a couple of cool things is this thing acts like a master switch. When you turn it off, it shuts the output power to the boat. All right, I'm going to have a circuit breaker to do that. The other thing that this thing can do is you can set it up. It'll act like a timer. Say, I want it to automatically shut off after 60 minutes or after, 3 hours or 6 hours or whatever. You can set this thing up to do that. It'll automatically shut off your output at a pre-designated time. So if you happen to forget when you leave the boat to shut everything off, that'll do it for you. And this is like a $30, $40 charge controller. This is a $70 charge controller. It is bigger, but I mean, it's a lot beefier. I mean, this is a good solid feeling unit, heat sinks, and look how much bigger these contacts are back here in the back. So, I don't really have any trouble hooking up a big 2-gauge wire to this thing and running it to my batteries. So, on to the next thing. We're going to have the switch panel mounted. I've got a couple of USB plugs. This is a voltage meter. I don't really need that anymore because I've got it on my charge controller, so I may put a cigarette lighter plug, or I'm not real sure what I'm going to put in this little, but I've got this nice neat little panel. This was an Amazon purchase also. Putting the Uniden Oceanus 480 on here. So this is going to be panel mounted as well. So everything's going to be laid out basically around this. I got the 415 instead of the 380. The only difference I could tell is the 415 has controls and a speaker on the microphone. So if I run this out into my cockpit, I can actually hear a little bit better out in the cockpit. And this radio is going to be mounted inside the boat. It's going to be real close to the companionway, and I may hang a mic holder, a spare mic holder up on the companionway hatch, so this thing will be up a little bit more usable. But that's why I got the 450 instead of the 380. The 380 does not have these controls. So that's pretty much everything that's going to go on the electronics panel. I decided I'm going to leave space for a stereo eventually. I'd like to add an AM/FM Bluetooth compatible stereo in the boat. So I'm going to leave a blank space for that. The other big project that I've got is I'm rebuilding my old Gemini compass. This is the compass that came with the boat. As you can see, it's not really functioning anymore. It's, the dome here is real clouded, and so I got parts, a rebuild part kit from VikingCompass.com. Viking Instruments has a lot of the old parts and tooling and gaskets and bits and pieces to rebuild these old Gemini compasses. So I'm going to try my hand at rebuilding a compass today. Got all new oil to go in it. Should work out okay. I decided to rebuild this compass instead of buying a new one because I like the size and the features that this old Gemini has. You can buy a cheap Ritchie for under $100, but to get this size with these features and the inclometer built in, you're gonna have to go to the Ritchie BN202 compass, which is on VikingCompass.com is $268. The regular price of that compass is like $460, $470. I don't want to spend that much. I'd rather spend $70 on a few parts and rebuild the one that I have instead of spending $500 on. So that's my project for today. New compass, new electronics panel, and get everything mounted up and ready to go. So if you're looking into solar, check out this charge controller. It's a nice flush panel mount look, and save the money and get the Coleman branded version. Part number 68032. So let's get at it. Well, I've got my box finished. I've got to mark and cut out all the front pieces, but I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. I've got these recessed screws that hold the front on. I can loosen these up and pull the whole front off and have access to all my wiring. I'm not a, carpenter by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. My joints are fairly tight. Everything looks real good. I pre-drilled everything and used these recessed screws, so everything looks good. Reinforced in the corners. So I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. I think it's going to work well in the boat. It's not as deep as I would have, preferred it, but it's deep enough that everything I need to put in there will go in there. So I'm excited. So now comes the fun part of marking and cutting everything out. And then of course I've got to stain it and try to match the existing wood. So that'll be probably the most challenging part. So I got all these gaps equal by using shims. I used a cardboard box I cut up and shinned it out, and everything's fairly equal and looks pretty good.
I got everything cut and mounted into this panel. Real pleased with how everything looked. It's not quite big enough to add a stereo. I wanted to put a stereo in there with Bluetooth and MP3, and so I can have some tunes out there on the boat. But this particular panel wasn't quite big enough. The charge controller I got took up a lot more room than I really was hoping, but this is the room that I have to work with, and so that's what I did. I've got other places that I can mount a stereo later if I wanted to, but for now, this panel is, I'm real pleased with how it looks. I got it stained. The color matches. The grain of the oak is a little bigger, bolder than the stain in the grain of the mahogany. So if you're really particular, you can tell that it's a different kind of wood, but color-wise, it matches pretty well.
My boat has an old Gemini compass mounted in the bulkhead, right by the companionway. And it's kind of falling apart. It's in disrepair. I've actually already started working on it. So what I have, I've got a new dome. This dome is pretty bad. So I've got a new dome to go on the front, and all new gaskets for it, and a new LED light to go in and light up the inside of the compass face. So far, it seems to be pretty simple. There's 4 screws, all right, that hold this plastic trim ring on. Once you pull those screws off, those screws are a little longer than the other screws that are on the inside, so you kind of have to keep track of which ones are which. Once you get those off, there's 4 more screws that hold this trim ring together. This trim ring actually holds the body of the compass and the clear dome together with a big gasket. So take those apart, separate it, and let's see what we got on the inside. Well, the compass seems pretty simple. It's just a few parts. You've got your main gimbaled compass here. This all looks to be intact and in fairly good shape. You've got this cover piece here that snaps down over the gimbal and gives you your direction. These were all faded, so I got some fingernail polish and repainted those lines. A little tricky. I don't know if the fingernail polish is going to hold up any better than the original paint, but I know the original paint lasted 30 years, whatever. And then you got your main body, the main body here. This is all in decent shape. So let's put it back together, see if we can get it back together right. Well, I got the Gemini compass put back together, rebuilt. The guys up there at Viking Instruments, everything fit together well. So I got a new globe, new gaskets for the globe, and the little filler plug, and all new oil to go on the inside. The compass is actually pretty simple. The gimbal mount, it all stays together. That little the plate on top with the little arrows and stuff, that came off, so I had to reattach it. And the white lines and red lines were kind of faded, so I touched them up with some nail polish. It's not perfect, but I think it'll get the job done. Hopefully it'll last, and not fade in the sun real quickly. But it's about $70 worth of parts, all new oil inside. Basically, the way it works, 4 of these screws hold together this plastic front piece, so they come off first, and then the other 4 hold these 2 aluminum rings together that clamp the back housing and then the clear globe to the front. So you undo all these screws, and the whole thing just separates into 2 pieces, 2 hemispheres. Like I said, pretty simple. A heck of a lot better than spending $500 on a new compass. But seems to work.
Next time on Wind Gypsies, I show off my new stern light, talk about my new depth and speed log, get hot and sweaty in the sun, and hang out with First Mate Ebony. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe.